Hey,
Hi, nice to meet you.
yeah, nice to meet you too. Am I coming through okay?
Yeah, I think you are. Can you just say something real quick again?
You can hear me all right and everything's smooth, not any background noise.
Yeah, you're great. I think I'm probably more messed up audio-wise than you.
No, that
So,
sounds fine. So, I mean, do you want to? I mean, if you want to record my
yeah,
voice?
I'm gonna
Okay.
record it, but if you want me to remove anything afterwards, I will 100% do it. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, yeah. Hopefully, I don't say anything too fucked up.
Yeah.
You have any questions you want to ask? You just want to shoot the shit, or what's up?
Yeah, I mean, were you following Fallout the Frontier and everything that happened? And do you feel like you have any like unique insight as a mod developer into?
I think I've got some insight, as a mod developer because I saw him do a lot of stuff I wouldn't have done. Um, I didn't follow it pretty closely, on and off. I see trailers like, oh, it's pretty cool. I wasn't really, I don't know, I wasn't looking at dev blogs or following it throughout its dev cycle, but I would see it occasionally and be pretty interested in it because I like Fallout a lot. I really, really like Fallout, and I love big mods, obviously. But and I wasn't following it too closely. I started looking into it more after it came out, and it became such a big fiasco, a little bit of a disaster. But no, I
Right.
wasn't following it too closely.
So, in your opinion, I mean, obviously you never know with these things, but if this sort of thing were to happen to Old World Blues or one of the devs, like, came out as just being an awful person, like, for whatever reason, where, you could not associate with them,
hmm
what do you think the mod team would do in that situation?
Um, I think we would. Um, I think we'd ask him to leave, and I think we'd have to take the content out. And what I would hope that we would do, and I'm not really a decision maker when it comes to this kind of thing. I'm not a community manager, but what I would hope we would do is uh, is apologize for maybe not vetting people a little bit better, and just thank our community for supporting us. The thing is the thing about it is it's kind of hard to avoid these things because sorry if my chair's like sorry 1 second.
It's fine.
Sorry about that. It's very hard to avoid these things because there's only so far you can vet somebody before it becomes this kind of like Henry Ford-esque private eye. We're just going to look into their entire life to detect any kind of thought that we don't deem acceptable. I do have some actually pretty strong opinions about that one guy, that Zoo the Skunk guy that's been ousted from the team.
Yeah.
Um, I think obviously you shouldn't be drawing that stuff, pedophilic content and all. But to be entirely fair, I think they're just using him as a scapegoat. It really seems like they're catching a lot of flack, uh, and they want somebody that they can oust who's done some bad looking stuff that'll kind of deflect criticism off the rest of the team for some of the weird stuff in that mod. Because as far as I'm aware, the unsavory stuff with that with the character America, with the lizard people, with Death Claws. That guy didn't do any of that. He's not responsible for that being in the mod. But the people that aren't catching direct flack for their part in it. So I think he's a scapegoat. I think that's why they're outing him so much. And I would hope that we wouldn't resort to doing something like that. I mean, I'm not saying what the guy did was right. I mean, obviously that's drawing stuff like that's messed up. But it's let me put it this way, right? I've looked at the art. I mean, we have artists on the team, right? I've looked at the stuff they've done just, outside of Old World Blues. I've checked out their deviant arts and their profiles and stuff like that. And I've never seen anything weird, but that's after only a few months of knowing these people. I don't know how long Zoo was on the team, but 7 years and you really never picked up on any of that stuff, never once. You didn't, you bring an artist onto the team and you don't really vet what kind of art he makes. I really don't buy it, to
So,
be entirely
so
honest.
you're saying in Old World Blues you get to know other devs pretty well to where you'd pick up on that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's not a huge team. It's
Hmm.
I think like 40 people roughly, on and off. But I don't know. It'd be really hard to miss something like that for 7 years straight, in my opinion. I know the other devs pretty well. I've seen some of their outside work. I'm not on a first name basis with everybody. We still use monikers and all that, but I've seen some of the stuff they've done outside of the mod, and I've never seen anything like that. But I feel like I would have if it was there to see, because I mean the guy was posting this stuff, this sort of lewd pedophilic art. He was posting this under the same moniker he uses on the mod team. It's not even a different kind of name that he uses to post that stuff. So I'd be seriously surprised if nobody had ever picked up on it. What I think is more likely, my guess would be, is that they probably noticed it and they probably didn't really care enough to do anything about it. But once they started really catching flack, they wanted somebody that they could throw under the bus to kind of draw attention away from the team as a whole.
So if you were to say like, if you were a doctor, right, and you were
Uh-huh.
diagnosing this mod, like this mod's development and trying to figure out exactly where it went wrong, do you think that it's the vetting process, or do you think it's like the content itself, like the character America?
I think I would diagnose this mod with a chronic lack of oversight. Um, really, with the vetting stuff again, there's only so far you can go, and the truth of it is even if you don't vet people that well, they might do some weird shit on the side, but that's fine as long as you can corral them in and make sure they don't add any kind of that stuff to the actual product. Okay.
Right.
Um, you can be a little fast and loose with the vetting, and it's a mod, so it's not going to be you're not going to be checking them out like the FBI would for a job or something like that. But you need to have an oversight on the kind of stuff that goes in. Comments that are kind of indicative of foot fetishism or this kind of enslaving a barely legal girl.
Yeah.
It's so weird. Death claw sex, lizard people, that kind of stuff um doesn't just come from poor vetting. That comes from, they're on the mod team and you can actually vet people pretty well, but they can still do weird shit. That comes from they've gotten onto the mod team no matter how well they were vetted, and there is just not enough oversight to the kind of stuff they're making. The way we run things is there's not like a head dev who's in charge of everybody, but we kind of get together and we kind of decide a general path we want to go in, general kind of broad stroke kind of stuff we want to do, and we get cracking. And we usually run stuff by people, especially if we want to do something weird. We'll run it by somebody else, right? And more often than not, we don't have anything, even a quarter as egregious as some of the stuff that got in there. But it really seems like people were left too much to their own devices. They were left too alone to inject maybe something a little bit too personal, a little bit too sexually charged into the mod.
Yeah. I also completely forgot to ask you if you want to state your name and or username and what your role in Old World Blues is.
I'm Shudderfly. I'm a one of the senior devs in Old World Blues. I'm currently on a hiatus, but some of the stuff I've done is focus tree coding for stuff like Free Fighters and Playlock. I did that in conjunction with some other devs, and as of now, and this will date the interview, I'm sorry, but as of now, the most recent thing I've done was the TAA focus tree, which is entirely of my own invention, with the art being done by Soviet Cyber, who did an excellent job with it. But that's yeah, I'm a localization writer, so I do writing, and I'm a focus coder, so I code focus trees.
Yeah, well, your mod is very popular, and I'm sure a lot of people are gonna want to hear your opinion on
Well,
all this.
here's hoping. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, have you played a lot of Fallout New Vegas mods? Like, have you played Fallout New California? And did you play
Yeah.
Fallout the Frontier?
I have not played Fallout the Frontier because, and you'll have to forgive me, but I saw there was like 17 required mods, and I couldn't be bothered. I was like, oh god, I'll do this later. But I have watched a lot. I've scoped through hours of other people playing it, and I've listened to people's reviews. I've seen screenshots, seen stuff in the game. I've got a pretty good idea of what I don't like, and I've got a pretty good idea of what I do like in that mod, even if I haven't experienced it myself. But I have played a lot of Fallout New Vegas mods. New Vegas used to be my favorite game a long time ago, maybe not that long ago. Um, and I played a ton of mods. Beyond Boulder Dome. Uh, is one of my favorites. I would say that one's really well done. Really expansive too. And just a ton of other small stuff. Occasionally I'll boot up New Vegas and do another modded run, and basically play it until it crashed. I think the most recent time it crashed was by the time I got to Camp Golf, and I couldn't get past that point, so I stopped. But I'll mod the hell out of New Vegas until it breaks, just like anybody does. So I know what I like and I know what I don't like, and I've seen a good bit of what I do like in Frontier, and I've seen a whole lot of what I don't like in Frontier.
Have you ever played Fallout New California?
Yeah, I played it. Every time they would release a major update to it, back when it was called Project Brazil, I would
Yeah.
play that. And I played a good number of hours for it when it came out as Fallout New California, when it got fully released. I thought it was pretty good. There was some stuff in it that I thought maybe didn't fit Fallout so well, but I thought it was competently done. I thought it was an interesting look at California in a first person kind of perspective, that or in third person, I guess, but not like top down. You know what I mean? I thought it was a good. It was really well directed. It looked. As far as landscapes and locations and factions went, it looked pretty darn good. So I think New California is pretty good.
When you played the mod, did you notice any sexual content that made you uncomfortable in New California?
Um, no, I don't remember any sexual content made me uncomfortable. There was some zany stuff in there, like the tunnel people I thought were interesting, but they didn't make me feel weird or anything like that. I don't remember anything that made me uncomfortable in New California.
If you were aware that when captured by the Raiders in Fallout New California, as a good character, it's recommended that you sell your friends into sex slavery. Would that change your mind on the mod?
Um, I think that's now, is this a permanent thing, or can you go back and,
You can
and
go
save
and
them
save them,
later?
but they've, been
Then,
violated by that time.
um, I don't know. I mean, that on the face of it, that sounds pretty distasteful, I would say.
I can walk you through exactly what happens if you want.
Yeah, go ahead.
So basically, early on in the mod, after you've escaped the vault, there's kind of uh, a point where you can either get captured by the raiders or you can continue on your own.
Hmm.
And getting captured by the raiders is not necessarily a voluntary thing. You can do it on accident. So that means the player
Right.
can be forced into the situation.
That's the point at which they push you in that big pit, right?
Exactly.
Right. I
After
think I remember
escaping
that
this
part.
pit, it's revealed to you that in order to regain your slavery, you need to sell, or your freedom, not your slavery. You're enslaved, as well as the rest of your friends. And in order to regain your freedom, you need to sell your friends
Hmm.
to other people.
Right.
As a good character, it seems like the best way to get your friends back is to sell your slaves to one person who wants to abuse them sexually. And then basically the plan for your character is to go rescue them because he's not going to take them away from New
Right.
California. Um, and so when you do go rescue him, or them, not him, um, it's revealed that they have in fact already been violated and they express having difficulty walking, among other things, and other references to that experience.
Yeah. That seems a little bit distasteful. It seems unnecessary, I would say. I feel like if I was to write that same situation where it needs to, if I wanted to write a story where to to kind of escape a snare trap, you have to make a bad kind of sacrifice, but you can double back and save your buddies. I think, if you want to do something like slavery, which is something in the Fallout universe, you have like Paradise Falls and all that. I think it would have been better if it was just regular slavery. I think it's kind of unnecessary to have a sexual connotation to it, if that makes sense. If you really want to write a story where, I've got to let my friends get captured, so I can save myself, so I can go back and get them. That's a fine series of events, narratively. But it's a little weird. I would say that there's a sexual connotation to it. I think it's unnecessary for what you want to achieve by a story beat like that.
It's also of note that all of these characters are teenagers in this mod.
Now that is extra bad. Really not good to have underage sex slavery in a mod. Um, I'm not saying it's something that wouldn't happen in Fallout, but it's not really something that you really need to do for the story New California was going for. I don't remember that being something that had. I don't remember it being something that I think would have been necessary for New California's story. Um,
Right.
yeah, it's just the unnecessary sexual element to it. I think is what makes it weird.
Yeah.
In terms of how that affects my opinion in the mod overall, I still think it's a pretty good mod. I still think it's pretty well done. But you know, every face seems to have some zits on it, and you really have to try hard to kind of cut down on that kind of stuff because there will be some people who look at that moment, which is kind of distasteful and it's definitely unnecessary, and they'll say, well, you know what, I am not a fan of the whole mod because of that. And you know, they're within their rights to, right? I'm not saying that's the wrong way to look at it, but when you put that stuff in without really damn good reason, I don't think they had damn good reason, then you could really color people's opinions and just make them generally uncomfortable and unhappy, right? It's not something people want to have in a video game.
All right. Well, I think I've held on to you for long enough. So, is there anything else you'd like to say to people who are interested in this topic?
You know, I think there's really important wisdom to be discerned from the way they've handled this situation. And when you're making something, it doesn't matter if you're making it for free or if you're making it for money. When you're making something you want an audience to enjoy, do not condescend them. I've seen a lot of this from the dev team. When it comes to talk of the Enclave, when it comes to this quote sticks in my head, is when people are talking about the Enclave path. And these are devs talking about it, as far as I'm aware. Have you seen this clip where it says the Enclave is just a fascist power fantasy? The Enclave are Trump supporters, you know. And then there's that line in the game where the PC says, "Why would I ever want to join a racist, fascist, paramilitary thing?" Have you seen all this?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Actually, as a part of my video, though, I show that that's actually a direct quote from Fallout New Vegas.
right. Well, that's the thing. That's one thing I'll say as well is that that's a quote from Arcade Gannon, right?
Hmm.
Arcade Gannon is a written, developed character that is staunchly and uncompromisingly written to a certain set of moral values. Uh, the player character is not in that way, right? And
Mm.
when you reach out into a player character, it's supposed to be a surrogate of the player, and you put those words as the only available option for them. You're reaching out and you're condescending directly to the player when you're not giving them any cop out or any option other than why would I ever want to do such an evil, terrible thing. You're bringing the player out of the game and you're talking down to them for wanting to make that kind of decision. So that's why it's different when it's Ganon, who's a character, got a staunch set, always going to be the same way, strict set of moral values, and a player character who should have agency and choice and determination when it comes to their own moral principles.
Yeah,
But
I see
in
what you mean.
response to this, in response to this, the devs have been very condescending, and that is absolutely the wrong way to go about it. You're not going to win any fans over by acting like that. You're going to alienate people. You're going to make them unhappy. You're going to make them not like your mod. So I definitely say, as a piece of wisdom, do not condescend and browbeat and talk down to your player base. They will not like it.
Right. All right. Well, thank you very much. I'll leave you
Yeah,
alone.
thank you. Thank you for coming and talking to me. It's good to express my thoughts on this kind of thing. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get, basically the community's, ideas on this as opposed to just like this external factor of
Hmm.
what everyone thinks of this mod. Um,
Yeah,
are you? I'm sorry. I said I was done. I'm gonna ask you one more question.
that's
Do you
fine.
think that practice will change as far as big modding teams as a result of this, or do you think that this was just a mistake that they made?
You know, I hope it does. I hope people are paying attention to it. You know, Fallout 4 New Vegas and Fallout Miami. I hope they're keeping an eye on this, and I hope they're saying to themselves, you know, there's from any mistake, and I think they've made a lot of mistakes here. There is much that can be learned. So I do hope. Um, I hope that modding teams will, in the future, maybe try and have a little more oversight in what they let get into their mod, and I hope they will shirk this kind of condescending attitude towards the players. I would really be disappointed to see these mistakes repeated, because they do no good to nobody.
All right. Thank you very much. I'll send you
Thank you.
a link to the video when it's done.
Absolutely. God bless the Steed Clay, formerly Chucks.
I'm not some big YouTuber, but I'm gonna post it on community stuff.
Yeah,
Hopefully get it
definitely.
some traction.
Sure,
Um,
sure. Here's hoping.
yeah, I come at this more from the perspective of a small modder, you
Of
know.
course.
Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, anyway, have a good day. Feel
Yeah,
free
you
to
too.
message me anything you want
Of
be
course.
removed
Yeah.
from that.
Yeah. If you no, I as far as everything I've said, yeah, I'm
I
good with
think you're
all
fine.
that. Yeah. If you have any other questions, feel free to DM me. I'm usually around. But yeah, thanks for having me. Have a good
All
one.
right, thank you very much. Goodbye.